going on, Jerome's? So, have a very unpopular take today. And yes, Stefon Diggs definitely is a lightning rod amongst the Minnesota Fighting Vikings fan base. The Minneapolis Miracle, but also the way things ended. But at least the Vikings ended up with Justin friggin' Jefferson, and for that we thank you, right? And again, this is going to be unpopular, but I legitimately feel bad for Stefon Diggs. I really do. Because I think that the mentality that he has and that he carries in his professional life and probably carries in his personal life, I just don't think it's healthy long term as a human. Not just him as a football player. And again, I get it. Just like, oh, how are you going to feel bad for a millionaire athlete, bro? I legitimately do because, hey, you can be happy with negative 100,000 in your pocket. You could be completely miserable with 3 billion. It just really is how it is, and it really does speak to your mentality and how you look at things. Now, Stefon is back in the news. Again, this is so dumb. But Purple Persuasion put this together. According to former Vikings wide receiver Stefon Diggs via Burt Breer, Monday Morning Quarterback, Diggs believes the Vikings purposely sent him to the Bills, and that was not the kindest intent. Quote, because at that point when I left Minnesota, I was a good player, but I wanted more for myself. I felt like I was better than that I could be better than that, Diggs said. And up to a point, I was like, shoot, I'm going to bet on myself, and they sent me to Buffalo. I don't know if they sent me to Buffalo with the kindest intent, but all is well that ends well. Now, of course, things did not end well in Buffalo, as even though Diggs put up monster numbers, eventually he was traded to the Houston Texans, and they revised his deal. So now he's got a 1-year deal essentially with the Texans, and now he has to prove it. But I feel like Stefon Diggs can never let himself be happy. And it feels like every single thing, whether real or imagined, is everyone and everything is against him, right? And I legitimately have empathy for him because it's not a good way to live. And you could have all the millions that you want. If you're not going to be happy, if you're not going to be satisfied, no. Now, yes, it's a double-edged sword because you could say that this me against the world mentality really helped propel him to the National Football League, right? And perfectly, definitely understand that. But he had a very good thing here in Minnesota. He and Thielen were one of the best, if not the best, wide receiver duos in the National Football League. But he just couldn't be happy. And again, the day that Kirk Cousins got his contract extension was when Diggs tweeted out, "It's time for a new beginning," and then Spielman traded him the same day. That's how things came about. And in Buffalo, Buffalo, man, Bill's Mafia adored you. And you put up insane career numbers. You're working with one of the best young quarterbacks in the game. And, Buffalo, you guys had a Super Bowl window. Like, if you didn't run into Mahomes or Burrow or whatever, you guys had a legitimate shot to make and win a Super Bowl. But it didn't happen. And now the Bills definitely up against it cap-wise. They basically dismantled their secondary and the back end of their defense. And also they sent Stefon Diggs packing. It's tough, man. And now he ends up in Houston, which about how many milliseconds is it going to take until Diggs starts complaining about Nico Collins and Tank Dell getting more targets than him? Probably about 2 seconds. And I don't think it's going to end well in Houston because C.J. Stroud is don't broke no BS. Like, C.J. Stroud is all about business, and he's not going to put up with any diva nonsense. Now, Josh Allen definitely is a little bit more laid back. Same thing with Kirk Cousins, definitely non-confrontational. But C.J. Stroud's going to get up in your face. Like, C.J. Stroud is a true leader of men. He's not going to put up with Stefon Diggs and stuff. So again, it's rough. And not trying to psychoanalyze Stefon, but I know that his dad did pass away in 2008, and one of the reasons why he stayed at Maryland, which was his home state school, was to be close to his younger siblings and help and be there for them. And that's why, even as a 5-star recruit, he was turning down Ohio States and Alabama's, etc. So, props to that, but maybe that did put that chip on his shoulder where it's everyone against him, but it's not. It's not. Vikings fans, we love Stefon Diggs. Bills Mafia definitely loved Stefon, but it just seems like he can't allow himself to be happy. And, not to get into the weeds, but I've definitely found that as part of my life at times too. And I think we all have, right? Where again, it's a double-edged sword. Where it's like if you're just happy with where you're at, you can get stagnant and maybe you don't push yourself to those goals. But there's definitely a breaking point where it becomes very unhealthy and unbeneficial. Where you're never happy. Everyone's against me. I need to find a new situation. Maybe the situation will be better. The grass isn't always greener, man. And I feel like a healthy way to start looking at things is being grateful for what you have, as opposed to always pissing and moaning about what you do have. Like, oh yeah, we went to the playoffs, but I didn't get the targets. Oh, I'm getting the targets now, but we're not getting things done in the playoffs. I'm not getting that look on 3rd and long. Oh, it's going to Gabe Davis and all that nonsense stuff. It just, I worry about him. I do, because like I said, I mean, we Vikings fans sort of washed our hands of Stefon Diggs. Maybe he's a punchline at times. Thank you for Justin Jefferson, etc. But at the end of the day, he's a human being, and there's a lot of life after football. And you may have to take some time to work on himself, because if this just carries out, maybe this is why his teammates didn't want him dating their sisters, among other reasons. I don't know, man, but. I don't know, like, again, as a human being, like, I feel for him, and I think it's a lesson that we all can take. It's like, what's the point of conquering the world if you're just miserable all the time? Or you have everything in front of you, everything that 99.9% of the population would kill to have, and you're unhappy, and you find a way to ruin things. You always find a way to self-sabotage. I think that's where we're at, man. So, yeah. Anyways, that's it. I legitimately feel bad for Stefon Diggs. Again, unpopular. But let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.